Hello, this is Teacher Dan's Videos, and today we're going to talk about generic and indefinite nouns, and then we'll talk about generic and indefinite pronouns. Let's get started. First, let's talk about indefinite and generic. Which nouns are indefinite and which are generic? A student walked into the room. A student is a person who goes to school. A student stole my pen. A student can meet with the teacher before class. In the first sentence, a student walked into the room. There's an actual student here, so in this case, it's indefinite. In the second sentence, a student is a person who goes to school. This is true for all students. So in the second sentence, a student is generic or in general. A student stole my pen. There's an actual student, so this is indefinite. And the last one, a student can meet with the teacher before class. This is true for all students. So this is a student in general. So in this case, it's generic. Let's look at these examples. A student walked into the room. She was looking for the teacher. Here I have a student, and that's indefinite. So I use the pronoun she because that's the pronoun that the person who walked into the room uses. In the second sentence, a student should always do his or her assignments. A student in the second sentence is generic. So when I use the pronoun, I use his or her. Because if I mean a student in general, it could be a man or it could be a woman, so I have to use his or her in this situation. How can I solve this problem? How do these sentences sound? Is it correct? A student can talk to the teacher before class. If he or she cannot find his or her teacher, he or she can contact his or her teacher by phone or email. All of this is correct, but it doesn't sound very good. What's a way to make this sound better? Look at the second group of sentences. Students can talk to the teacher before class. If they cannot find their teacher, they can contact their teacher by phone or email. This sounds a lot better. So, the rule, if you have a generic noun and you want to avoid using he or she and him and her, then sometimes you can make that noun plural, and then you can use they, their, or them, which sounds a lot better. Each student in Dan's English class must log in to YouTube account and subscribe to Teacher Dan's videos. Here we would say each student, and we would say each student in Dan's English class must log into his or her YouTube account and subscribe to Teacher Dan's video channel. In this one, a student in Dan's class threw a book at Dan. Here we would say his book if it was a man, or her book if it was a woman. Because in this case, student is indefinite, not generic. Let's talk about indefinite pronouns now. Here you can see 4 indefinite pronouns. There are 12. Can you think what are the other 8 indefinite pronouns? Here they are. Here's all 8 indefinite pronouns. There's some rules about what pronoun we would use after these. If we say someone stole his pen, in this case someone is indefinite. There's an actual person. That person is a man, so we would use his. Here, everyone must write his or her own essay. Everyone here is in general, so we would say his or her because that could include both men and women. But what most people actually say is this: everyone must write their own essay. So with indefinite pronouns, the rule says I need to use he or she or his or her, but most people, when they're speaking in an informal situation, will use the plural pronoun, they, their, them. Everyone must write their own essay. Let's look at these 2 situations. First, 2 friends talking. Anyone can learn English if, here you could say he or she wants to, but most people, when they're just talking to their friends, don't want to say he or she, they'll just say they. Anyone can learn English if they want to. But in a university textbook, they will use more formal English. So in a situation like this where we have a student, they would say a student must show his or her identification before he or she is allowed to vote in an election. So for formal English, we'd say his or her, he or she, but with informal English, especially when we use indefinite pronouns, after we probably just use they, their, or them. So today we've talked about certain kinds of nouns, generic and indefinite, and then we talked about indefinite pronouns and what pronouns we use after indefinite pronouns. I hope you enjoyed this video and learned something to help improve your English. Please subscribe to my channel, Teacher Dan's Videos, and have a great day.